thank you for having me again. It was an awesome experience on Tuesday. So I'm grateful to be here again. Thank you. So today I'm going to be talking about empowerment through disempowerment, the power of perspective. Um, Sorry, I had a moment. I am not my story. I am who I am because of my story and the trajectory it put me on, but that does not define me. I get to define me. I get to redefine and reshape myself as I go, as I peel back the layers. So often we see people who receive labels, who have endured some kind of victimization, who have gone through horrible things, and maybe to the seeming outside eye, not so horrible, but affected them in a really profound way. And they identify with it, and it becomes a defining point for them. Not necessarily, there's different ways where things can become a defining point, but in a way that stifles their growth, in a way that they roots them into their victimization and into their trauma so that they can't move forward. Everything has two sides. Everything is a double-edged sword, so to speak. You can take the most disempowering situation, and how you perceive it can come through it into a place of empowerment. You've got to go through the motions. You've got to feel the feels, but you get to define you. You get to peel back those layers. There's a beautiful, beautiful quote that I absolutely love by Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That has been monumental in my personal and my professional career, and just speaks to the deepest levels of the power of being able to see things in a different way and being able to transcend it. Whether you say you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right in both ways. So my personal story, I grew up in a very dysfunctional home. I had an amazing mother who tried her best, and I had an abusive father who was an alcoholic. He had his own trauma from childhood that was very unresolved. So he just perpetuated that forward. I suffered the worst of it. I do have a brother, and he had women issues on top of it. So I was just like the human toilet. I got a lot of shit growing up as a kid. And I've been different since I was this big. I've always been able to see, know, and feel beyond the main five senses. Didn't understand what that was back then. I'm the weirdo in the family. I'm not the black sheep. I'm the psychedelic rainbow colored sheep that farts like glitter. That's me. So I had all of these really weird abilities and things to feel and know and understand beyond the veil, but I didn't know what to do with it. And it was 100% my saving grace, 100% my saving grace. In the field, in the Western field, a lot of the times they come out as defense mechanisms. Yes, it can be viewed in that way, but a lot of our gifting, a lot of really powerful, powerful gifted people I know went through a lot of crap in their life, a lot of crap. And it's learning how to navigate that really helps you grow, because you grow through what you go through if you allow yourself to do that. So all of the disempowerment I had in my life, all of the you are not enough, you're not worthy, you're not deserving. I remember coming home with a 96%. I was brilliant as a child, 96% in math, and my dad looking at me and saying, "Where's the other 4%?" Like always had that kind of shit. And even though I had a very caring mom that lifted me up as much as she could, having that one person that was supposed to be there for you crapping on you constantly, it just, and that energy around you as an empath, it just drained you dry. But I took this as, I have to say, the world complex. I just wanted to help everybody. So when I was bleeding on the inside and just my being was just deflated, and I had major anxiety, major depression, and I was suicidal at the age of 12, and I had a nervous breakdown in school. Like high school is not hard enough, and here I am having a nervous breakdown in the middle of English class to be pulled out with an amazing English teacher. But anyway, all this stuff was happening, and other than the nervous breakdown in school, I didn't let anybody see it unless I wanted to. I was sitting there and I was holding it all in, and I was that rock. even though I was bleeding so much on the inside, I was always that rock for everybody else to come to. And my mom would say, like, I was the rock. Like, I was the second adult in my household by the time I was 12, helping my mom do everything. I was the emotional and mental, spiritual rock. Like, I was that person. And I didn't understand why I was feeling so drained, because I was so busy giving to everybody else. And I didn't see myself as a victim ever, or that I was even being victimized. I didn't know any different, right? This is just my reality. This is what I was going through. So I kind of knew, because I would go to other people's houses and see how other families and stuff interacted. So I kind of understood that, but I never allowed myself to view myself as a victim. It's like, okay, so this is what's going on. How do I work with it? And especially when I started to, like, I just started using it to help people and to connect with people. And at 18 years old, I got into a program in a college that only wanted people at the age of 19 for maturity purposes. Well, I went up against them, stated my case and all this. I got in. 3 months later, I was working in the field. I mean, my first job in the field was I did community conferencing with the police. And then I did working with teenage prostitutes from 12 to 18. So right in the same age category, like, I'm on the edge of it. And here I am, and I was able to help people on levels that people who've been in the field for like 10, 20 years couldn't, because I was able to see and connect on those deeper levels. Because who do you want to learn from? Who do you want to connect with? Somebody who's been there, done it, and wrote the book, or is writing the book, or somebody who read it in a book? When we sit there and we pull ourselves out of what feels so heavy and what is blinding us in the situation, and we allow ourselves to pull ourselves out of the storm, so to speak, we can more readily see what it really is versus what we've made it out to be. I'll often tell people two different analogies. One, finding the center of your storm. So when you're in a storm and things are flying all over the place and you feel like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, and it's like, everything's all over the place. You can't see anything because you're just waiting for when the next thing is going to hit you. So you're busy dodging. If you breathe back into your being and you find the center of your storm, you ground, you center, and you just protect your energy, and you look around and you see things for what they are versus what you're making them out to be, because you're not getting hit every time you turn around. You're not getting, because you can see it. You're like, okay, all right, cool. Oh, okay, all right. Oh, okay, that I thought that was a big thing coming from my head. It was just a shadow. All right, we're good. Or the other analogy that I also use is helicopter. Imagine that you're a helicopter when you're in your situation and everything feels heavy, trying to look for something. My sippy cup for coffee. If I'm right here and I'm looking at this cup, all I can see is the cup. I don't even understand it's a cup. I can just see this pink thing in front of me. I have no idea that it's my coffee sippy cup until I move it away. And then not only can I see the coffee cup, I can see my phone, I can see the door of the room I'm in, I can see everything else. If I pull myself out more, I can see the house I'm sitting in, I can see the city that I'm in, I can see it all. The more you remove yourself from the situation and go up, you can see the things you weren't able to see when you were like stuck right in it. You can see things from a different perspective. You're able to transcend it a little more, again, to see things for what they are versus what we've made them out to be. To see, this is really hard when you've been through a lot of crap and you still feel that pain, but being able to move through that, to feel it, to grow through it, to work with it, not to push it down. I really dislike the whole spiritual bypassing of shoving something under a happy carpet and jumping on it. That's not going to do anything. It's not going to do well, it is, but nothing positive. It's going to do a lot, but it's not going to do what you want it to do. So sitting with it, asking it what it has for you, learning from it, growing from it, integrating, releasing, doing that whole process and allowing yourself to go there. I think of it as trying to articulate how you have like victimhood, you have, or sorry, not victimhood, victim, survivor, and thriver. And I one time had a client, absolutely incredible person. I was working in domestic violence as a counselor at the time, and she had been through some horrific crap. She made it to the other side of it. And for quite some time, she's doing great. And I said this to her, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're such a survivor. I'm so proud of you. You're so incredible. How can I best support you? I'm like, oh, this is great. And she interrupted me. She's like, like, wait a minute. Don't call me a survivor. To call me a survivor implies that I am also a victim. I am a thriver. And I went, yes. It's like this linear, like nothing is linear. You can have something where you were victimized, where you're a victim at, you move through that feeling of being a victim to survivor. I survived that. I've got this. Yes, it did not crumble me. I've got this, or, oh my God, I survived this. Okay. However you need to process it, that's okay. And then once you're moving through those and you get to thriver, feels so much different. But when you're at thriver, healing is layers. Sometimes you're there and something triggers you and all of a sudden you're back here and you do this and there's no problem. That's beautiful. That's exactly what it's like, the ever unfolding lotus. Your lotus is no mud, no lotus. You gotta have the mud for the lotus to form and to unfold and all of this. It's like the victim, survivor, thriver. No mud, no lotus. You've got this. Grounding into it, identifying where you are. Not, you can identify with something, but not let it define you. Like, oh, acknowledging, better word. Acknowledging where you're at with something. Be like, oh, I'm here again. Okay, I'm here again. What does here have for me? What does here have for me? What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? Stream of consciousness writing is so powerful too, because sometimes Leah's like nodding your head because yeah, we've been there. Where you can't see, again, the coffee cup's too far in front of your face. All right, stream of consciousness writing, sit down, put a pen in your hand. I don't care if it looks like a drunk chicken danced across your page. Just write. It can be anger writing, cursing, talking about, I'm sitting here at the table, this is so stupid, I don't know what to do, whatever. Because at one point, right? Just, you're allowing yourself a release. So you want your ego to have a release. So you spew that all out and you let that go so that your intuition now has a place to come through. That's where the wisdom comes in. You need to have an outlet. Again, do not stuff things under that happy carpet. Take that happy carpet, burn it like the damn phoenix and let it to the ground. You don't need a happy carpet. You don't need a happy carpet. It's okay to feel where you're at. It's okay to feel sad some days. It's okay to feel really happy while simultaneously feeling sad, while oscillating like this. That's okay. If that's where you need to be and you have 5 different emotions all at once, that's okay. That's processing. There's a lot of times where I'll feel so incredibly amazingly empowered, especially when I'm talking to my clients. I'm like, whoa! And then I get off the phone and something where my own personal stuff integrates and I'm like, oh my God. So then I have to take my butt outside, know where your power comes back to. Go outside, get your feet in that earth, your bare feet on that earth, breathe back into your being, dance it up, find some awesome angry music, you don't want angry music, you just want flowy, whatever. If you want to play Mozart, whatever feels good to you, find that outlet, use it. Use it. You have to have an outlet. You have to have something to process that energy and move it through your physical. Otherwise, it gets all bunked up in there. Because our emotional, mental, sexual, spiritual, physical, they all affect each other. It's all this big, huge enmeshment. So when one's off, the others are off. And it comes through things. You see people with a lot of physical ailments and the doctor's like, well, I don't know, what did this come from? I don't get it. Oh my goodness, what? Oh, there's no reason for this. Because often it's the body went somatoform. So you've got some emotional or mental trauma that is being held in the body. Some of the doctors are going, oh my God, I don't understand what this is. It's integrating the two, integrating the Western and the Eastern, so to speak. It's integrating that mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, sexual, all of the things, allowing them all to come forth, because everything is so incredibly interconnected. And again, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. We need to give ourselves permission to be a perfectly imperfect, messy masterpiece, to turn our mess into our message. Stop thinking, oh my God, I'm broken, something's wrong with me. It's like, oh my God, I'm broken. I can see more realms of myself with this. Sometimes you need to break wide open to allow the things that no longer serve you to fall away. Thank you so much, guys. I so appreciate you being here with me today. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions.